Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 52 Weeks of Momentum Tag-Along Group. I'm Tanya MFK, founder of Build-A-Biz and the Biz Builders Group. If you haven't already heard, 52 Weeks of Momentum is a year-long course created by my favorite writer and teacher in motivational psychology, Mr. Benjamin Hardy. By industry standards, he's kind of risen to the top a lot faster than anyone thinks is possible. He was told by many in the industry that his goals were too ambitious and it would probably take 3 to 5 years to do what he wanted to do. But he didn't accept that, and he's currently jumping through the ranks to be one of the most prominent figures in this industry. So he created this course to basically teach you how to use the same tactics and gain the same momentum that he did, which is pretty awesome because I think most of us not only want to have the skills, but we're kind of like impatient. We wanted to get done already. And through a realistic but still ambitious way, he lays that foundation for you to really gain exactly that, which is momentum. So in the 52 Weeks of Momentum Tag-Along Group, I will be posting weekly recaps and assignments of what we learned. This is in no way a substitute for the 52 Weeks of Momentum group. There are so many more amenities, if you will, by being a part of and investing into this group, which is why I have done that. But since I'm so excited, I want to share it with everybody. So in this course, when you invest in it, we have not only the thorough lessons and assignments, but we're also part of a huge community. And right now, our community is over 600 people from all over the world, coming together to work on all these things goals that we have. And there's a lot of energy you get to feed off of that. We get support and networking through all types of different people. I don't have that for you. So that's another huge benefit of why you would invest in this directly and not just, I'm the Cliff Note version. Okay. So we also get 90-day challenges like passion projects and writing assignments, weight loss groups, acts of kindness, and we get direct support from Benjamin Hardy and his team. And of course, encouragement from him as well. I can't provide that for you either. But what I can do is shout from the mountaintop all the amazing lessons that I learned while going through this, as well as tell you about and offer you the same exercises and assignments that were taught. That's why I'm calling this a tag-along group. So now any of you who are part of this that have joined the accountability group, the biggest difference is that you're going to be held accountable to complete those exercises and assignments. So you're going to be expected to show your work, if you will. You're going to have direct access to me, which I'm no Ben Hardy, but I do have 16 years of marketing experience with $1 million startup companies and Fortune 500 companies, as well as small mom and pop and just very ambitious individuals. So we are also going to be meeting every 2 weeks to go over our lessons and any questions and wins and breakthroughs that we've had. And I'll also be implementing some sort of reward system for those who are really sticking with this and just crushing through everything that they can. To be honest, I don't know exactly what those are going to be, but we're working something along the lines of items that will really help push your business. So whether that's things like some graphic design assistant or helping create email campaigns, sales pages, and things like that, anything that my team and I are able to provide and really help you and reward you for keeping with this and keeping that momentum, those are the type of things that you can look forward to. So if you want to join the accountability group, just comment below this video if you're in the Biz Builders group or even on YouTube. I'm in, and I will reach out to you and we'll make sure to get all that info into your email and get you started, okay? So with all that housekeeping out of the way, let's jump right in and get started with lesson 1. So in lesson 1, before we even received our actual lesson, we already had an assignment. And our first assignment was to write our top 5 goals for 2018. Pretty reasonable. Everybody else was writing their goals for 2018. It was New Year's, for crying out loud, right? So everyone and their mother was doing that. But the big difference was the specificity. Specificity, I hate that word. We had to be specific, right? So we had to be specific. We couldn't just say lose weight. We needed to say like 26.2 pounds. Okay, maybe not that specific, but we had to do that. We had to say When were we going to lose that amount of weight by? How are we going to do it? You had to actually think about the steps that you were going to take to do that. You had to go further and say, okay, I'm going to average 1 to 2 pounds a week of weight loss, which would be, 4 to 8 pounds a month. I'm going to keep a food log. I'm going to do 5 workouts a week, join an accountability group, XYZ. We also had to do, which I thought this was really key, we had to identify what is stopping us now from reaching that goal. So up until this point, why haven't we been able to reach that goal? And I'm sure that can bring up a lot of different thoughts and ideas, and it makes you really face them and identify, like, why haven't I been doing it? And so you take that time to think, and of course that also lends itself to the how. Okay, so how will I undo these things that have been stopping me now? So that was all set, right? Seems really clear, really great. And then we had to get to the why, right? And that's a big thing, and that you'll see common in like a lot of businesses and a lot of business coaching is getting down to your why. Like, what is your why? What's your core motivation? And they'll usually take you down like 3 levels. And it can work kind of like this. So let's go back to the weight loss thing, right? Because that's what I'm working on. So I want to lose weight. Okay, there's my goal. Why? I want to fit into my pre-baby clothes. Why? Because I want to feel stylish and confident. Well, why? Because I want to feel good about myself. Okay, well, what about, and this is what I want to get to as well, and I like that he brought this up, that it wasn't just the question why. It was taking that item from before and saying, what about that is important? So if we go back and do this, say, I want to lose weight. Okay, what about losing weight is important to you? Well, I want to fit into my pre-baby clothes. Well, what about fitting into your pre-baby clothes is important to you? Well, because to feel confident and stylish. Well, what about feeling confident and stylish is important to you? Well, to feel good about myself. What about feeling good about yourself is important to you? I think I got to something like, I want to be positive around my son and create positive body image, not only for himself, but how he looks towards women and all those things, right? I'm only 4 levels deep, guys. Like, I'm only 4 levels deep, and I went from something as simple and surface as like, I want to lose weight, to like, oh my God, it's about my family and my son and like his future. Like, whoa, right? 4 levels, like 3 more levels. Like, I'm like almost like, whoa, scared. What am I gonna get to with that? It's gonna be crazy. It's like the cosmos. Okay, so that's what we had to do. You're 7 levels deep. So I'm not going to go over that like way too much, because I did cover this a lot in the Biz Builders group and a bunch of articles on Medium. So the worksheet is in the group. If you guys are in the Biz Builders group, you can find the worksheet there. It's in like the forum section. And if you signed up for the tag along or the accountability group, then you also receive that in your email. So again, that was before we technically got to our lesson. So let's move on. We covered a lot of foundation, and that was really a big part of it. And for the actual lesson, our main focus was 2 essential exercises for success, right? 2 essential exercises for success. So this is like the main lesson that they gave us. And the first exercise was uncommitting, which seems totally counterintuitive because we just sat there and like committed to a bunch of goals, right? But uncommitting was the first exercise that we needed to do. And we needed to uncommit to everything that is non-essential. You really need to pay attention to that word essential, right? Not important, not this, but non-essential. Like, it's just, not, I can go into that, but not essential. He wrote to us, the more you eliminate from your life, the more you can focus on what truly matters. That makes sense, right? If you have like 40 things, it's hard to give one thing a lot of focus, right? So if you can eliminate a lot of things, you can really focus on the one thing that you need to. He mentions this quote by an author, Jim Collins, from the book Good to Great. He says, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have none. Now, this is something that I tell my clients all the time, but last year I was definitely not following it myself. I had my hand in so many things. We had to just undertake a huge move from the US to Europe. We sold pretty much everything we owned except for something that would fit on like a 1 meter by 1 meter pallet. For you US people, it's like a 3 foot by 3 foot square. So not very much stuff for a family of 3. I was continuing the momentum of my business and really starting to create different courses and lessons and foundations and websites and all of that stuff, right? Like, as if that's not enough. But I also put my hands in 30,000 other ideas while I had this baby, this baby of my business, because I also have a baby, but my business baby, Build-A-Biz. I had this budding baby, and I also had my hands in like literally like 20 other projects and ideas and businesses. I was taking one step in 20 directions instead of 20 steps in one direction. Now, if you actually stand up and try to take one step in 20 directions, try it. Go ahead, stand up and try it. You will go nowhere. You will literally go nowhere. It's like a circle. Like you just one step here, one step there, one step there, but like you don't actually move anywhere. You just go in a big circle. This is not what we can do. It's easy to get caught there, and we find like this important thing and that important thing, and we do this in business a lot. Like, okay, so I need to start Instagram. They say Instagram's important, and then they say Facebook advertising is important, and then podcasts are good, and email marketing, and this is good, and so you get your hand in all of them, and you just start doing all of them, and it's like 40 things. What is the priority? You can't have 40 priorities. We need to understand that important doesn't equal priority. Eating fiber is important, but it's not a priority for me right now, okay? So the best way to determine your priority is by setting those goals. So that exercise that we did before in the group, setting the goals, was huge. If doing a podcast and a mastermind group, an email campaign, and Instagram all seem equally important, then you need to check back in with your goals. And if my goal was to grow my subscriber list, then the activity that has a priority is the one that's going to directly affect me growing that list. That's it. No more, no less. It's that one activity. And if you're not definite about something, and this goes on for business and for anything really in life, if you can't be absolutely definite about it, uncommit. Don't do it. Because if we're not spending our time on the things that are the absolute, like definitely, like absolutely, I want to do that. I am so sure I want to do that. I'm so sure I want to be part of that. That excites me. That fascinates me. That does that. Then why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Our life is not that long necessarily. We need to do all we can to be spending it on the most important things that make us happy. And if we're not sure about something, then we probably need to uncommit. If you can't put your heart into it, take yourself out of it. I love that. I don't know whose quote that is. I wasn't able to find a name, but I just came across that and I thought it was brilliant. You need to let go of things that don't serve you, that aren't part of your goals and aspirations. You need to let go of those distractions. So after we kind of came through that lesson, we were asked then to share what we will be uncommitting to that year. This year, I have a really big list. I actually wrote a whole article about it. You can see that on my Medium blog as well, and it'll be in the Biz Builders group this week too. So that's a lot of fun. You can see all the crazy stuff I was putting my hands in last year. It was ridiculous. Benjamin Hardy has an article on this too. You'll be seeing that also in the group, and if you're subscribed to the lessons. And don't worry, accountability group, if you're trying to keep up with all these things I've mentioned, you will be getting this as required reading. So you will be checking that out too. He also offered 2 great books on this topic. They said would really help you hone in and get this concept of uncommitting and really this laser focus. And the books are Essentialism, the Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And the other one is called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, the Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing. So he encouraged us that if we haven't read those, to read those ASAP. I will be starting with Essentialism just because I like the way it sounds. I'm already a very clean, decluttered person, so that one's lower on my priority list. I really want to get the information from Essentialism. So if you want to tag along with me, I will be starting with that book as well. So, deep breath. That was the first exercise. That was the first exercise we had to go through. Woo! Then the second exercise. The second exercise is having a morning routine. Having a morning routine was not new to me. This, I think, is just one of the most important things ever, period, like for any success doing anything. I don't care what it is. He says you need to have a solid morning routine if you're going to live each day with intention. The purpose of a morning routine is to help you align your daily behavior with the person you intend to become, because your behavior shapes your identity. Now, I want to stop right there at that part because I think that's really important, that your behavior shapes your identity. So a lot of times we believe that our identity is what makes our behavior. Because we are this person, that is what comes out. That's what we behave. That's the only way there is. That's how it is, and there's no way around it. We have that backwards. So the truth is we can adjust our behavior to become who we want to be. Our behavior will eventually become our identity. So if you think about being a cyclist, if you think about being a cyclist, I'm not a cyclist, right? So I'm driving down the road and I see the cyclists and those shorts and their, little helmets and all that. And it's like, wow, like that looks interesting. Maybe I should try that. But I'm not a cyclist. So do I just like, well, I guess I'm not one. So that's it for me. Or I can go and stop taking on the behaviors of a cyclist. I could go and purchase a bike. I could probably purchase the clothes. I could start to do cyclist things. I don't really know what cyclist things are. I'm assuming that there's some sort of group or club that I join and I can start cycling with them. And maybe I'll be like a little behind at first because like I'm not a cyclist, right? And then little by little, like I start hanging out with the cyclists and we start talking about like cyclist things and like bicycle tires. And you can tell I really know nothing on this subject, but I always choose examples that I'm like so far removed from. But anyway, so you start to do this and little by little, holy crap, you're a cyclist. Like that's your identity. What do you do? I'm like a cyclist. That's kind of my thing. I do cycle tours. I do cycle stuff. Like that's what I do. I'm a cyclist, right? Because you took those behaviors and those behaviors shaped your identity. Our behaviors become our identity. Don't tell me you're not a morning person because your behaviors will make you a morning person. That's it. He says the most essential morning routine activities center around meditation and journal writing practices. So morning routines are going to vary from person to person. This is something that I implemented in my life many years ago, and it literally changed everything. Everybody has a routine. If you ask successful people, successful CEOs, no matter how much money they have, they're still waking up early in the morning and doing their routines, right? Like they could probably just wake up and like veg and like have martinis for breakfast, but rarely have I ever heard that like some successful person say like, yeah, that's how I live my day and I'm just super successful. Like, no, the most success, meaning like they've already made it, they still have these morning routines. Same goes for athletes and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, morning routines, but there's a routine. There's a pre-performance routine. There's something that gets them in this mindset to go and conquer their goals and accomplish what they want. So my morning routine was, like I said, established a couple years ago. And it was just something that I never considered myself a morning person. I was in my 20s, don't want to wake up. And I got a new position as the chief of marketing in a startup company. And I was asked by the CEO, what time can you come to work? And he said, I was like, I could be there whenever you need me to be here. And he said, well, what time are you available to be here? I was like, I can be here whenever I need to be here. You know what? Just tell me what time to be here. And it just like went back and forth. Like, well, what time can you be here? And I was like, oh my God, like, is this a joke? Like, what are we talking about? I can be here 5 a.m., 9 a.m., midnight. Like, just tell me when to be here. I'm going to be here because I'm an eager, ambitious worker and I'm going to do what you guys need me to do. Right. And that's when he stopped and he was like, okay, tell me about your morning. What's your ideal morning? What do you do? I never really thought about it. And I kind of came up with this whole thing like, well, in a perfect world, I would wake up and I would meditate and I would do yoga and I'd have tea and I had all these like health things I love to do. And I would make my breakfast and go to a workout and, come home, take a shower, get ready. I would pick out like the best outfit ever and go to work. He's like, well, how long would that take? Like, I don't know, something crazy, right? Like 4 hours, I don't know. And he was like, well, what time do you get up? And at that time, I got up, if I was lucky and behaving myself, like at 7 a.m., right? That was really on a good day. 7 a.m. I was like, yeah, 7. I wake up at 7. He did the calculation. He was like, okay, with that routine and including traffic. So I was living in LA. He was like, as soon as you can get to work sounds like noon. I was like, right, like that's funny. Okay, so when are we gonna work? And he's like, well, you need to get here by noon, and that was it. Like that's where we were, and I was like, wait, like, what? And he's like, when you're here, like, and I was in this high position, as a C-level executive. He's like, but I was very young. I was very lucky to be in that position. But he's like, I need you to be in the absolute best mind frame that you can be. I need you to be the best you can be. I need you to be focused. You need to have a desire to be here. The only way to set that tone is to start the day properly for yourself. And I was very fortunate to have him not only as that boss, but as that mentoring position, because I don't know that anyone would necessarily be that kind in kind of teaching and leading you towards that path. And so that was it. I started my days at noon, and I got to be honest, like, I was so productive when I was there for that time. And it was really just like 5 hours, but I didn't feel like I was missing out. I wasn't staring out the window being like, wow, I could have done yoga, because I already did yoga. I already felt good. I felt focused. Like, I was accomplishing the kind of day and life I wanted to live before I even went to work to do further goals for the business and all those in my career. So it was an awesome feeling. It was great. And my morning routine stayed throughout the years, throughout different job, opportunities and changes, and just life in general. The times have changed. I have a toddler now, so 7 a.m. is like, phew, might as well be noon, waking up, because that's not going to happen. But it is the most absolute important foundation that you can have. It's the most absolute important foundation that I have for the success that I've had and the life that I've gotten to live thus far. So you need to set a time that you will wake up. It sounds funny, like you can look at my calendar and it actually says the time I wake up. Yeah, I need to write what time I'm waking up, and I need to calculate what's going to happen after that. And it also determines what time you're going to go to sleep. If I've set out that I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., going to sleep at 1 a.m. is not going to be fun. And I'm not going to reach that goal very well or comfortably. So I really need to rethink those choices the night before, because I have already set that goal. You also need to write what you're going to do. Like, what am I going to do for my routine? That's going to be different for everybody. Wake up, have tea, write in your journal, take vitamins, whatnot, right? This is crucial though. I have what I call my SODs and my EODs. They're little blocks at the start of my day and the end of my day. I do not go to sleep without closing out my day and prepping for the next. I always know what I've accomplished that day, where I've slacked, and what I am doing the next day, and what my morning is going to look like. And sometimes that changes. I travel. I'm currently in Thailand right now, and in 2 days I'm going to be in Vietnam for 3 months. So sometimes my mornings are disruptive. I need to talk with I need to talk with somebody on the East Coast or the West Coast or some in the US, and that is my morning. So I have to really go, okay, if I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and I like to journal at this time, and I have to throw in a 6 a.m. call, my morning's going to look different. But I know the night before what that means, and I know what to expect. So going back to all that, I'm going to be doing a course like this, also teaching these principles and actually helping you set up your EODs and SODs in the Build-A-Biz group. But whether you learn from there, you learn somewhere else, I'm telling you, this is the thing. This is the number one foundation, not just for yourself, but for your business and just for everything. Do it. If you're in this group, if you join 52 Weeks of Momentum next year with Benjamin Hardy, you're going to be hearing this same message. This is just so crucial and so important. He has 2 big articles about this as well. Honestly, just Google morning routines, Benjamin Hardy, and you'll see the 2 articles. He even has, I believe, a PDF that you can opt into, and it'll give you like some morning routine examples, and that they're amazing. So that was the 2 exercises. I know I went on a long kind of rant there, but that was the 2 exercises that he said were the 2 most essential for success. So you see why I was so passionate about it. This has to happen. And I know you've stuck with me, guys, for a long time, and we're a little over 20 minutes in. But the last thing I want to cover, because this was such a big proponent of our lessons, it was never an official lesson per se. It was actually a course that Benjamin Hardy did about journaling, and it was just included into our package of our purchase for this course and going through this. But in everything we do moving forward, he's always referring back to this next foundation of journaling. And so I'm going to go through not the 11, 12 lessons I think that are in his course, but just a quick overview of the journaling and what we are doing and expected to do. And so stick with me for just a couple more minutes. I'm going to go through that right now. So he's a huge advocate of journaling. This part of this, his success and this quickness that he's gone through, he really, really attributes this to journaling. And I used to journal when I was younger, and I found it very beneficial, kind of like on an emotional level and whatnot. But as going through into business, I keep reading about the benefits of journaling, and all these, marketing gurus and stuff talk about it, the creativity. And I keep trying it. I kept trying it, and it was like, it's just like, oh, like Dear Diary, it's just not working. I just couldn't keep consistent with it. And it really helped that there was some sort of structure given. And so I have really stuck with this now consistently since the day we started. And I've already seen like huge breakthroughs from this, like in just a week's time. It was crazy. So it's not officially required in the course, but it basically is. Like, that's pretty much, you need to do it. It might conjure up visions of, laying on the bed, kicking up your legs, and you're like, Dear Diary, today I saw a grasshopper. But it is definitely a lot bigger than that. And there's a bigger focus here. So we're supposed to wake up, and before we do anything, like no checking your phone, email, in a perfect situation, you're going to wake up like before your family or spouse or whatnot. And even if that's not a situation for you in your place, that's also just waking up and immediately like getting out of the bedroom and going to a place that is kind of sacred, if you will, just like a safe space, that is just you and your journal. And there's a huge important reason for this. The first goal in the journal, right, is to let any ideas flow that you may have gotten from your subconscious while you slept, right? And before you think this is like, woo, this is all too foofy, Thomas Edison, very smart, pretty accomplished guy, he said, never go to sleep. Like, this is one of the things that like helped him. He just never went to sleep without making a request from your subconscious. Now, before you get like the feeling that like subconscious, oh, is this like a weird thing? Your subconscious is a very real thing. Right now, as you're listening to me ramble and like barely taking a breath, you're yourself are actually breathing. Are you consciously sitting there thinking like, okay, I gotta listen to Tanya, and I'm like, inhale, exhale? No, you're not. Your subconscious is handling that. Your subconscious is handling that. It's handling taking the food you ate and like, making sure it goes to the organs and like doing all that stuff. Like, your subconscious is literally keeping you alive while you listen to me right now, right? Your subconscious is a very real thing, and it's constantly going through and working things and doing things and working things out, right? That's how you drive home sometimes, and you're like, well, I don't even like remember driving home. Like, I just got here. I just kind of, because your subconscious like, I got this. Like, you're clearly going to space out. So I got this. I'm going to make sure we get home okay. Subconscious is like smart. It's on it. Okay. So Thomas Edison says, don't go to sleep without making a request from your subconscious. It's at work while we sleep. It's working. It's still going. It's keeping you alive. It's giving you those crazy dreams, pulling together those thoughts from the day, right? So it's already working. So give it something to work on. Ask it a question. Say, hey, like, oh man, like I'm trying to figure out if I should do this, or what things should I work on, or is there someone I should connect to or reach out to on this business idea, and let that be that last thought. Let that be the request, right? And let go to sleep and let your mind just let it work on that. And when you wake up completely undistracted, grab your journal and just free flow write everything that comes out of your brain. And like I said, the reason for doing this and avoiding anything else is to avoid input. So like, we're always taking input, right? We're checking our phones first thing, and like we just woke up and our brain might have all these great things to tell us in the morning, and instead we're like, oh, what did Susie do? Oh, look at this. What did Trump say? Blah, blah. And it's just like in the head. Like, we're just pushing anything our mind was like, I have something to say. And we're like, no, take all this. And it's just like pushing it. And more times than not, like, we never get that back. Or do we ever check back in? Like, we're never checking in and be like, what am I thinking? Instead, we're like, what is someone else saying? What is this? What's my email saying? Like, just input, freaking input. And guess what, guys? You're pretty smart and amazing and creative and all these things. And you're not giving yourself a chance to be heard. Like, what are you thinking? Like, what did you come up with while you were sleeping? Maybe it's the most brilliant thing in the world, but you won't know because you're on your Twitter feed, right? Stop it. Go somewhere. Don't do any distractions first thing in the morning, and just check in with your brain. Give it a voice. Let it have a moment to talk by writing down whatever comes to your mind. And it's for some of you, it might just like free flow at first. For some, it might take a little time. Just get that pen to paper and get it going. Get started. Even if you're starting like, I'm not sure, I woke up, my brain, I'm not thinking, maybe it's about pancakes, and just go from there. Just go from there, okay? Go from pancakes. It's totally fine, because as you continue and as you let this become a habit and you start to train yourself and your brain to know that this is a time that for these moments, these thoughts, you're going to start to see transformations. You're going to start to see breakthroughs. It is going to be huge. So after this moment of like free flow, you can also start by visualizing your goals. So your long-term goals, even your goals just for the day. This allows you to check back with your motivation and focus for pushing through the day, right? Like, if you come back to like, what's my point of pushing through this day? And you're like, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, whew, got it. Okay, I'm back. Like, let's do this. Let's get it, right? Let's get this day. So visualize your goals. So that's your next kind of like section. Then after that, you can focus on gratitude, really anything else at that point that comes to mind. You can also do the whole recording history, like Dear Diary, Saw a Grasshopper. You totally do that. I do that as well, but I do that. I'm journaling twice a day now, so I'm doing like my start of day and end of day, my SOD EODs. So I'm doing kind of the thought dumping, as Benjamin calls it, in the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day, I'm kind of recording like, what happened, what we did, and all that stuff. So yeah, there's that. And it doesn't have to be this huge commitment. Like, you don't need to sit there for hours. As a matter of fact, we're encouraged in the group to just stick with like 5 to 10 minutes and just get it out there. So again, that may vary for everyone, but at least start with just like a couple minutes and just get into the habit. And I think you're going to see big things. I've already seen big things in such a short amount of time. It's been remarkable. So that's it. Thanks for sticking in there, guys. Took me 6 minutes to explain all that. That wraps up the first week one of 52 weeks of momentum. If you want to do those exercises and all these different things that I have mentioned, then go ahead and sign up for the tag along. I will just send it to you, and it's totally on you. At least you have them. Get to them, do you, boo, whatever you want to do. If you want to take it a step further and you want someone to nudge you, or several people to nudge you and really keep on you, say, hey, you need to do this, let's turn it in, let's make sure you have it, then the accountability group is for you. Join the accountability group. Again, all these things are free, guys. Like, I'm already in this group, I'm already doing it, and I'm already going to share this info anyway. We're just putting some structure to it, okay? So if you want to go a step further, join the accountability group and make that happen. Again, in the Biz Builders group, if you're not already part of it, not only do I share the lessons in the group, but we also do a lot of skill building, marketing things, and learn about branding and support from other entrepreneurs. So go ahead and join in there as well. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click that red subscribe button, and you'll get a heads up when we have new material coming in. So thanks a lot, guys. I know it's a long one. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be seeing you often. Bye.